Today I want to talk about the concept of golden handcuffs and about the fact that if you are tied up in these, it can be dangerous and make you miss out on a lot of good things in life. Many people are blinded by the compensation, which is the salary and the benefits that they get from high-paying careers. The term golden handcuffs itself existed since 1976, and what it basically is a situation where someone is offered an inducement or an incentive, usually by a big corporation, that makes the individual stay. These include things such as stock options or a contract where the individual is required to stay for a certain number of years, or bonuses that are only paid out if the individual stays for X number of years. But I would extend the definition to include any kind of benefit or incentive that is offered to you as an employee that makes it difficult for you subjectively to leave the company. Why I stress the word subjectively is because, of course, at any time you are free to leave the company, but there will be consequences for that. And while some individuals accept the consequences, meaning, for example, having to forfeit their bonuses or stock options, other individuals, they would not want to accept that consequence and therefore stay in the company. My purpose of making this video is that I wanted to help you to try and recognize whether or not you have one of these golden handcuffs on. And in case if you don't, which is really great for you, I hope that this video can help you to avoid these golden handcuffs in future. The first form of golden handcuffs is the salary lifestyle trap. And again, here by trap, I don't mean that someone intentionally prepared a trap for you so that you would fall into it. But what I mean is that as a result of the circumstances and the things that you chose to focus on, you eventually got trapped. The point of the salary lifestyle trap is that your high-paying job, that big salary, enables you to afford a certain consumption pattern, if you will, in terms of housing, entertainment, shopping, and other lifestyle choices. And it can make you feel trapped because you've become so used to this high standard of living that it makes it really difficult to get out of it and say no to this big salary. By the way, in case you're new to this channel, I make videos on multiple careers and career change, and I want to try to help you to shape the kind of career that you really want and that you feel is suitable for your life. So if you have any plans to change your career or are thinking about starting a new career, then this channel is definitely for you. And in that case, you might want to subscribe, and also don't forget to hit the little alarm bell. I would say that this salary lifestyle trap is really common, and not just for people who are working for big corporations, but this applies in general. But let's take the example of someone working for a big corporation. Let's say that you start off working in a junior management position and you get a salary of somewhere between 40 to 50K. At this point, you will have enough money to pay all of your bills and maybe part of your student loan, and you will have some money left at the end of each month, which, for example, you put into a mortgage or you use to buy a car. But then after a few years, you get a salary raise, and let's say that now you're at 80 or 90K. So all of a sudden you see that, oh, I have like more money left over each month and I can actually upgrade my stuff. So what many people then tend to do is that they go and buy a more expensive house, or they buy a second house, or they move to a place where the rent is 50% higher and perhaps has an extra 1 or 2 bedrooms. And then they might also think that, oh, I don't want to drive this old secondhand car anymore. I want to upgrade, so I'll buy myself a Honda or whatever. And whereas before, perhaps that person would still cook themselves their own dinner at home, at this stage, because the person has a higher salary and perhaps the workload has also increased, this person thinks that, oh, I actually have the money, so maybe I'll just cook myself dinner once a week and I'll go out on the rest of the days and just buy some food. And at this stage, all is actually still good. But then we move on to the next salary increase. Let's now say that this person earns 150K per year. And of course, it would be ideal if the majority of the salary increase would either go into savings or investments. But what a lot of people do is that they continue to upgrade their lifestyle. They no longer want to live at their old apartment or house, but instead they want to move to a more fancy or more upscale neighborhood. And perhaps this person in my earlier example then sells their house and upgrades to a house that costs $1.5 million and has 4 or 5 bedrooms and a large basement, etc., etc. And perhaps this person is also not happy with the Honda they bought earlier and they want to upgrade to a Mercedes and so on. So this salary lifestyle cycle is endless. It can go on and on to whatever level of salary that you can imagine. A person could earn $1.5 million per year and there would still be a matching lifestyle to go along with that. And if the person is happy with their job and the whole situation and the lifestyle, then it's no problem at all. That is why I said that Golden Handcuffs is a very specific case-by-case situation. It becomes a trap when the person at some point on their journey finds out that actually I don't really want to work at this big corporation. I don't actually want to be the head of HR, marketing, whatever. Actually, what I would want to do as a career, as a job, is something totally different. But now I feel kind of trapped in this situation because I afforded myself this kind of expensive lifestyle and I need this job in order to finance these expenses. And once you are used to a certain kind of lifestyle, if you have a large house with a swimming pool and you pay people to clean your home, you go shop and buy branded items once or twice a week, and you have this expensive car to maintain, then it's really difficult to scale back and return to a more simple and less costly lifestyle. And that is where the person becomes trapped. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, then please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. This is a question for you. Do you feel like you have golden handcuffs on, or do you feel trapped in any way? Please let me know in the comments what your challenges are. The second form of golden handcuffs is what I would call the promotion/position status trap. And here's what I mean. By having a high level position in a company and getting these promotions, that is something that gives people a sense of status. Let's say that you are a manager at a big corporation, or let's say you're even the SVP or head of a certain department. Having this position gives you a certain status. It makes you feel like you're someone in society, you're contributing, you're useful, and you're being respected. And I don't mean at all that having a high position is something that's superficial. It's not the case at all. I believe that most people who are in a high level position are people who are truly extraordinary, skilled, and capable. And I don't think at all that it is a problem to have status in society or to have that longing for status. Because contrary to what many people say or appear to think, I believe that most or almost all people want to have some status in society. As I said in one of my other videos previously, it's only the way that someone attains that status that is different. Some people feel that they attain that needed status in society by being a CEO, while some other people, mostly among the millennial generation and Gen Z especially, feel that status comes from independence and freedom. Someone who is, for example, working while traveling around the world might feel that they have status because they can't afford themselves this freedom and independence. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that having a high-level position in a company can become a trap to some people. They get a sense that the only way that they can have status or importance in society is by staying in this high-level position. And for these types of people, it can only go up. So you work yourself up from junior manager, VP, SVP, head, and so on. You climb the ladder, and each time you climb up one flight, you have the feeling that you cannot return, because if you return, you feel that it will hurt your image. And here it can become a trap for some people. Perhaps they do not want to climb up that high. Perhaps they're already perfectly happy to be the manager of the department and they don't really have the ambition to become a head and go further up. There are indeed some people who do not want to be promoted. They want to, for example, stay at a manager or VP level or wherever they are, because they know that by doing that, they will be able to do other things in life or perhaps spend more time with their family. But the problem is that once a person is in this position promotion status trap, they feel like the only way that they can attain status and importance in society is by taking on the next role and climbing up further. And again, like I said earlier, there's nothing wrong with this, because for many people, this is the way to go. But it's really important to know for yourself what type of person you are, so that instead of going with the flow and getting trapped in a cycle that you do not want to be in, you can proactively make a decision about your career that is best for your life. One of the difficulties that I see for those people who are in this kind of trap is that in some cases there are people who are intending to change careers. They want to work in a different field or industry, but they don't do it because they're thinking that if they move, they will either need to start from the bottom again, or they will need to downgrade in terms of their position. So if previously at a big corporation, let's say in banking or in finance in general, they were the head of the department, if now they would switch over and go, for example, into digital marketing, and perhaps to do that they would need to downgrade to become a manager. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. Going up or down is not the only kind of mobility that exists in career change. You can also go sideways, meaning that you expand your horizon by going in different fields and gaining different kinds of experiences. And you can also specialize, meaning that you go deeper into something and you become more of an expert in something. I really think that it is time for a paradigm change when looking at careers. Going up is not the only way. There are so many different ways, especially nowadays, for someone to carve out their own specific niche, to acquire their own unique set of skills and experiences that not many other people in the market have. And this leads me to the third form of golden handcuffs, which I call the career and skill dependency trap. And what I mean by this is that you need to be careful that you do not make your entire career and your skill set dependent on one company, one corporation, or one specific job. There are many people who are still highly dependent on the company who they work for, and they kind of regard the company as their home or even their lifelong home. And I don't mean that you shouldn't give your best to your company. I think that whenever you enter into a working relationship with whomever, may that be with a company or a client, you need to give your very best. But what I mean is that you cannot make your whole entire career development and the skill set and the experiences that you have dependent on the company. But this is what a lot of people do. A lot of people let the company that they work for shape the kind of person that they are. Meaning that a person can be so focused on that one career path that is provided by the company that they work for, that they choose the kind of skill and training that they acquire even outside of the company based on what they think that that company needs. So in this way, it becomes really company-centric. But my question is, what if this company no longer needs you? Or what if there's another competitor that takes over? Or what if the whole working job structure in the industry changes and this job is not longer available in the future? What will you do then? But what I think that you should do in terms of career and skill set is to be you-centered. And this doesn't mean that you should be self-centered. Those are two different things. What I mean is that you cannot be dependent on a company. You have to decide for yourself what you want for your career, meaning that if you look at yourself as a product or as a brand, you have to think in terms of how do you want to position yourself in general in the job market? What kind of skills is it that you want to be really good at? What are the areas in which you want to have an edge compared to other people? By doing this, you are not dependent on one company. You have your own unique set of skills and experiences that going forward you will be able to offer on the job market, not just to this company, but to any company. Because in the end, I don't think that you should regard your company as your home, but rather the relationship with the company that you work at should be based on a mutually beneficial contract. I just want to emphasize again that it is not the company that is trapping the individual, because I think that in most cases or in many cases, companies and big corporations are offering very extremely good deals even to their employees. So for many people, these are extremely good arrangements in terms of compensation, benefits, etc. And it is really a fit with their career goals and their life. These forms of golden handcuffs that I talk about become relevant to you if you realize that what you want to do in terms of career is not what you are doing right now, and you want to get out of that and you want to try to go on a different path, but you somehow feel that you can't because you feel trapped not by the company but by your own mindset and by your own career objectives. So in any case, if you don't have these golden handcuffs on, then just be aware of these. But if after watching this video, you suddenly feel that, oh my God, I'm actually so trapped, I have these golden handcuffs on, then don't panic. It's not too late. You can always get out of them as long as you're willing to change your mindset. And corresponding to those 3 golden handcuffs that I just mentioned, these are the things that you can do fastest to get out of your situation. Number 1 is to downsize your lifestyle. Number 2 is to detach yourself from your position and promotions, meaning that you don't identify your worth or your value as a person or your status in society based on the position that you hold at the company solely. And number 3 is you have to be more you-centric in terms of career, meaning that you have to know what kind of career you actually want instead of being dependent on the company. I personally find that the term golden handcuffs can be a bit misleading. It gives the impression that the corporation is the bad guy and they are slapping these handcuffs on you. But I believe that that is not the case at all. Of course, the corporation, the company has every right to offer you a deal, offer you a contract, and it's up to the employee to decide whether or not they want to sign it. So in a way, the corporation does own and does have these golden handcuffs, but on the other hand, it's up to the employee to decide whether or not they want to slap it on to themselves. In the end, it's their decision. Whether or not it's really a golden handcuff kind of situation really depends on the individual case, meaning that if you and the company and the job offered by them are a fit, then it might not be a case of golden handcuffs at all, even though the company might ask you to sign a contract that has a few restrictions. If you really want to work in this company, you really want this job, and you are actually willing to accept the conditions set by the company in the contract, then this is not a golden handcuffs case at all. On the contrary, this might be a golden deal for you personally. The only case where it's a case of golden handcuffs is if you sign a contract with a company, but internally you feel conflicted about it. You really want that job, you want to work with a company, but you are actually not really okay with the conditions. And the contract with the company is only one side of the coin, which is the restrictions set upon you by the company through the contract. The other side of the coin are all the things that are related to you and the choices you make about your lifestyle, which are a result of the high compensation and benefits that you get. I personally would prefer to call this situation golden blinkers. You know those race horses? Sometimes some trainers put these blinkers on the horses so that the horses can only see what is directly in front of them. They focus 100% on what's in front of them, on the reward, winning the race, and they do not get distracted by what is around them, such as the crowd. I would say that a lot of people have these golden blinkers on. They are so distracted by this shiny facade, by this high salary, by their position, by their status, that they fail to recognize what their true purpose is. Whether they have a calling or a purpose, they either don't recognize it or they actually know about it, but they kind of ignore it because of these blinkers. If you have thoughts about changing your career, changing to a different industry or profession, or perhaps you want to keep your current job or career but you want to start a new career, something that you're interested in and want to work on in a professional setting, then I hope that some of my other videos will be able to help you out with that. Also, if you have any suggestions or requests for future videos, then I welcome you to drop those suggestions in the comments below. I hope this video was useful to you. Please feel free to share it with your friends who you think might benefit from this. As always, I thank you so much for watching, especially to those of you who stuck with me to the very end. I wish you an awesome day, all the best with your career, and I hope to see you again soon.